wrapped up. We just watched the boxing fight as well afterwards, so we're just getting wrapped up doing all our reactions to everything here at once. Um, Taliesin Teixeira, I'll just start on the bottom of the card and work our way up. I'm not going to do all the prelims and all that stuff, but we'll start on the main card on all the fights that, kind of interested me. I just want to start off and say Tai Tuivasa, first team. First team, all frustrating fighters to watch. If you had to make a list of the most frustrating guys to watch, Tai Tuivasa is on that list because, man, he had so many chances. He had so many chances where he had Teixeira hurt, where he had Teixeira barely able to stand on his feet, where he had Teixeira down on the ground turtling, and he just holds him. He waits until he gets to the ground with Teixeira turtling at about 40 to 50 seconds. Waits until like the 10-second point and then starts to throw ground and pound. Like, buddy, I know that you're tired. I know you're overweight. I know it's hard, but you're going to get cut. This is like 6 losses in a row. This is it, man. Buddy, you're an exciting fighter. We love to watch you fight, but man, 6 in a row. If you can't beat Taliesin Teixeira, you're not even in the rankings anymore. He's 15. This might be it for him. We might see him in BKFC, and I'm sure he'll do great things in BKFC. He'll do great things in PFL. Maybe he's a good next opponent for Francis Ngannou. How about that? Tai Tuivasa, go over to PFL. I bet they'll give you a couple million. I bet they'll give you $1 million to fight Francis Ngannou. Do that. He's getting old anyway. He's not super active. Maybe that'll be your best chance of something because this UFC run is just very, very disappointing. So, Teixeira, I don't see him, really pushing much further than being a gatekeeping, 7 to 15 range ranking guy. I don't see him really being a threat to anybody serious. So, yeah, just wanted to say how frustrating that was. But Mauricio Ruffy defeat Rafael Fiziev by TKO in the second round. Man, that was beautiful. I would say this. I thought that Fiziev was doing a great job. He was keeping Ruffy along the warning track. He was keeping him right along the cage the entire fight, and he was unloading combos. He was being patient. He was landing, switch kicks to the body. He was landing low kicks. He was landing punches pretty much at will. I thought that was a very smart game plan, especially being the smaller guy with the less reach to nullify the amount of attacks that Ruffy could do by keeping him along that cage. I thought that was a very smart game plan, and he was enforcing it well. But Ruffy impressed me, man. Ruffy impressed me. Because, yes, Fiziev was doing a very good job nullifying his offense, but he still pulls out a beautiful, beautiful right hand. He feints the left, catches him with a right hand, and that's all she wrote, man. Fiziev fought as hard as he could to recover, fought as hard as he could to, get back up and fight on and grab a takedown or spin out of it, but it was too much. That right hand was right down the pipe, as clean as you can get. And I'm excited to see what Ruffy can do. He's only 29. I don't think he'll ever be, I won't say ever, I don't think he'll be a champion in the immediate future or challenging for a championship in the immediate future. But if they match make him fight, I think he can be a very, very exciting guy. If they give him strikers in his road up to through the weight class, like who are some guys at 155 he could have great fights against? I mean, Dan Hooker lost, maybe a Hooker. I'm not even gonna look through all that right now because I want to get all the way through the card. But if you match make him right against strikers, he can continue to win. He can continue to be competitive, and he can continue to, climb up the rankings and build a name for himself. But I just don't see his game being well-rounded enough. I didn't like that he was, maybe he was setting up that right hand the whole time and he wanted to be along that warning track, but I don't like when guys just um, give up cage control like that and just stay on that warning track. That's the thing that frustrated me with Izzy. When Izzy was fighting Pereira, every time he got hurt, he was behind the black warning track. Just go look at all his fights. Every time he got hurt against Pereira, when he got hurt against who did he just lose to? Am I brain farting right now? Imavov, when he lost to Imavov, go look where his feet are. Go look where he's placed on the octagon. He's behind that black warning track. Same thing with Volk when he got caught by Islam and when he got caught by Topuria, behind the black warning track. So I hate when guys give up cage control and just back up. So didn't love that, but if you're in a striker fight with this guy, he always has a chance. So excited to see what he does in the future. And then BSD defeats Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker has a lot of success in the first round. He was hammering those teep kicks right up the corner, right up the middle, on BSD's midsection, hurting him really well. Landing a clean head kick while BSD was leaning into it. BSD just eats it, walks forward. BSD actually succeeds more in chaotic fights than he does in technical fights. When they were going strike for strike, technique for technique in the first round, Dan Hooker was piecing him up. He was just showing BSD seems to have very slow feet and slow hands. He's a bit methodical. He just walks forward and kind of wears on you, and that's exactly what he did. When it starts getting wild, and when you're this close to each other, that's when he succeeds. When you're at range, he doesn't do too well. He's not the fastest. He's not the most dynamic with his strikes. He kind of struggles at that range. But when you're in tight, and when you're in the phone booth, he has a lot of success. He gets to the ground, and like I said with Dan Hooker, rushing back into a fight instead of assessing why you lost the last one is the easiest way to lead to the same exact mistakes. And he gets caught in the same exact submission for minutes on end. Almost gets the life choked out of him for multiple times. He fights very hard. He definitely worked on that defense, but you don't have much you can learn within 2-3 months. He tried his best to defend. BSD lets it go. And Dan is so gassed out and tired on the ground now that he just hammers away ground and pound. I don't know how many unanswered shots he landed on the ground, but he just hammered away, punches, elbows, and gets the stoppage in round 2. So I think Dan Hooker loses. Patty Pimblet loses. Make the fight. Just make Dan Hooker versus Patty. Winnable fight for both guys. I think Patty's probably will be favored, but the winnable fight for Dan Hooker if he can defend the takedown. But he's got to work on that because he gets caught in the same position he got caught against Arman, caught in the mount. They transition to arm triangle, and then they're able to, do whatever they want at will with them with the offense on the ground. So I would, put the pads down and hit the mats. It's grappling training across the board. And then lastly, Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes. I'm not going to lie, this fight pissed me off. Man. The rematch that nobody wanted, nobody asked for, and we essentially get the same fight over again. Volkanovski dominates every round. Diego Lopes catches him a couple times, gets one knockdown in a flurry, but for the most part, he's unable to cage cut. He's outpointed by Volk. And actually this time, Volk even planted and sat down on his punches even more, and Volk hurt him multiple times. He gets 49-49, 49-46, 49-46, and 50-45. So two judges gave you one round, one judge gave you no rounds. This may be the same score as the first fight. I just don't. I mean, at this point, it's not really Lopez's fault because if they give you a title shot, you're going to take it. But he didn't deserve this title shot, and I think now it puts him even further in the queue. He goes to the back of the line. He's going to have to win fucking 20 fights before y'all give him another title shot because we already saw his ability to make adjustments from fight to fight are not great. His cage cutting ability and footwork did not get much better. The gap between him and Volk did not close. And he just gets styled on again. Was not happy. He had one moment where he almost had an armbar that was kind of interesting. Like I said, he got the knockdown, but for the most part, Volk was able to style on him all through it, and Volk is just great. Volk is great. We knew Alexander the Great, and still, it'll be interesting to see how long Volk sticks around and who's next for him. Maybe they'll push Gene Silva up to the front of the line. Maybe they'll finally give it to, you know, Mopsar. Maybe they'll finally give it to Lerone Murphy. Maybe one of those guys finally get it. Maybe they make them fight each other and let Volk sit out. But he's not getting no younger. I think Volk wants to fight as soon as possible. And I think that Lerone Murphy is kind of an interesting fight, but I think stylistically Mopsar gives him, a bit of a new challenge, even if it might not be the most exciting to fans. A new challenge would kind of be interesting because a lot of these guys just don't have the skill to pin down Volk or to one punch knock him out. So it just becomes Volk styling on you. It's interesting. Like I watched the boxing card tonight and I watched the UFC card tonight, and both of them, the main events. If y'all saw Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez, and then Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez, two Lopez's. It was literally the tactician versus the puncher in both fights, and the tactician just styled on him. The tactician just styled on the puncher in both fights. Unable to come forward, unable to force aggression, and unable to land the big shot to get it done. So, UFC 325 is wrapped up. Decent card. Main event just kind of was a letdown because in the beginning I almost didn't even want to see the fight, and it basically confirmed the reason why I didn't want to see it again, is that I thought we would see the same thing because his ability to improve and his ability to game plan and try new things just seems to be very limited, or at least Volkanovski is just able to easily nullify it. So interesting to see what happens next, but we move on to UFC 326. I think I'll probably be in Vegas for this one. I haven't been to a fight week in a while, but it'll be great to be back in Vegas for Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all follow on all platforms because I bring the content. We bring the fight night streams. We bring the on-site content at the cards. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you. Have a good night. 325 is in the book.